Broadcasting from Central Florida, it's the History Goes Bump podcast, Bonuscast.
Hello, you spooktacular people. Welcome to the History Goes Bump podcast, first bonus cast. This is going to be a little bit different than our regular show. It'll be similar to the specials that we do for certain holidays. We thought we'd send out a little extra treat for you at the beginning of the year. Happy New Year! And we hope that everything that you desire for this next year comes true for you. What we're going to include in this first bonus cast is some outtakes that we've done during the show. It sounds real professional when you get it, but behind the scenes, it's not necessarily quite so professional. We do a lot of editing. So we're going to share with you some of the parts that have been edited out that are never supposed to make it into the public domain. And we also have a friend of ours who has a Native American heritage, and she's going to share with us some of the traditional thoughts on ghosts when it comes to Native American traditions and beliefs. So sit back and relax, and we hope you enjoy this. Lori, could you tell us a little bit about what your culture specifically says about ghosts?
Call them ghosts. They call them spirit beings. And what our culture believes, and I'll speak for my tribe alone, our belief system is that we have animal guides and spirit guides all through our lives. And our spirit guides are typically relatives or very close friends who have made their journey to the next life. And they come to us in dreams or in times of need to guide us, help us make decisions, or help us overcome difficulties. And so as you're walking what we call the Good Red Road, which is a path of love and peace, you bother no man, you do not interfere in another's destiny, you become a guardian of our mother, which is the earth. Remember that the earth is our mother because life springs from the earth. So that's why we consider the earth our mother. And the sky is our father because the rain falls from the sky to help nourish Mother Earth, and it also encircles the earth so that it's protecting our mother. So Father Sky is protecting our mother. And all things, even rocks, the wind, the rain, all of those have spirit and will guide us. And if you can quiet yourself and come to center, you can hear the spirits. And your spirit guides will come to you in dreams. They will come to you in vision quests, when we do vision quests, in NBsp ceremonies. NBsp ceremonies are a cleansing ceremony, where you're cleansing your heart, your soul, and your body in preparation of a vision quest or a sundance or some type of ceremony or even some type of difficulty that you're having in your life. You will participate in an NBsp. And our spirit guides will sometimes come to us in an NBsp and tell us what we have to do, what is wrong, what we're doing wrong, or what we're doing right, or what we need to do in order to, we've stumbled on the road, and so we need to get back onto it. We've stumbled and fallen off the road, and we need to get back to the road, and this is how we come back to the road. A lot of this is tied in hair. Traditional indigenous people wear their hair long, and the purpose of your hair is your strength, it is your power, and it is your spirit. When you cut your hair, one of the things that our tribe does is when a loved one or close elder or someone who was a guide for you in life passes and begins their journey, you cut your hair. And part of the reason for that is when you cut your hair, what you're doing is removing that memory and allowing yourself to heal from their passing, and it helps them move on their journey. There was a study done that nobody really knows about back during the Vietnamese War, and what they were doing was they went to the reservations looking for trackers, and they tested them when they found them, and that these trackers would score very high. And then they would bring them into the military, and they'd get their military haircuts, and they were unable to score. They were unable to do even the simplest task, read a sign. Their sixth sense or their intuition about what was coming or what was out there or what they needed to do was gone. They didn't have it anymore. And so they began to really study this, and they went back to the reservations, and they found trackers, and they tested them, and they paired these individuals by score. So two men who had the same score would be tested side by side. One would be allowed to keep his hair, and the other would be given a military haircut. Inevitably, the man who got the military haircut could not pass any of his tests. The man who was allowed to keep his hair was able to track and was able to do all those things that we do. The ability to feel the presence of an enemy coming and to discern their intention. Is there too many for you to fight? Do you need to retreat? Or is this an enemy whose intention is to kill you? And so, you lay motionless and pretend you're still asleep and allow them to get close enough for you to attack first. And they found every time the man who was allowed to keep his hair intact was able to do that. And so at that point in time, and during the Vietnamese War, the military forbade indigenous peoples to have a military haircut. They were allowed to wear their hair long, and in fact, it was military policy for them to wear their hair long so that they maintained their abilities. And that's what we feel about our hair. That's a lot of our feeling, and we feel that our spirit guides, animal and humans, are attached to us through our hair as well. That we get strength from them, and our courage and our spirit from them. They continue to feed our spirit through our hair. And so we revere our dead because we know that they are still in our lives and that they often come to us in dreams and in visions, and they're always around us. And they guide us, and our hair is part of how they do that and how we connect to the earth and the world around us.
That's amazing. I had no idea how important hair was, and here I cut mine short. I guess I'm screwed.
The old ones who come to you and as well. I mean, I have seen black elk, I have seen sitting bull, I have seen crazy horse, and I have seen them in times of trouble, and their spirits have guided me through those times. When I was in Iraq, when I was in Kuwait, I saw them. And it was always when I was in a position where it was life or death. I had to make a decision that I was one way or the other. It was life or death, either for me or for the person who I was ministering to at that time, because I was essentially a combat medic. I would see them, and I would see my grandmother, and I would see Rick, and always they were telling me which direction to go and what I needed to do at the time to survive. And as I have talked to elders about this and medicine men and women about this, I'm told that the reason that they had come to me at those times in my life was because I had a mission to fulfill. But that's essentially my native heritage in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and sharing your stories. We greatly appreciate that. One of the things that we get asked sometimes, and I know that my mom, who is the historian that's joined us on a couple of shows, has noticed when she was in studio with us, is we got done with, I believe we were doing the Stanley Hotel show. And when we got done, she went, "You mean this isn't all scripted out? There was a lot of back and forth that you guys do just off the cuff." So a lot of people wonder how much of the show is scripted and how much of it is off the cuff. And I have to say it's probably about 50-50. The best way to tell is if you just pull up the show notes and have those in front of you while you're listening to the show, you'll see how much of it's unscripted. Any of the banter that Denise and I have going on back and forth is completely off the cuff. When I'd done my previous podcast that was the political one, I didn't script much. I would have notes and articles and things of that nature that I wanted to share with people. But when it comes to doing a show like this where you have dates and names and a lot of specific information that you want to make sure you get it right, It's a lot easier to script it, and the great thing is, once we get done with the show, we have a blog post to go with it. Plus, it works out really well for those people out there who are hearing impaired and can't enjoy the podcast. They at least get the same material, information on history and hauntings written out for them. And I can tell you, it's much cheaper doing it this way. When I was over at Blog Talk Radio doing a show there, transcript services for each show could run $300 to $400 a show. So obviously, nobody does it. So this way, it's completely free for you guys. Testing, 1, 2, 3. How's the sound?
4, 5, 6. It's looking good. And this is your co-host, Denise, and we're excited to have you all here for our second showing of this podcast.
The second showing of our podcast. Sorry. I might save that for outtakes. And maybe you'd like to share the details of kind of the, I don't know, disgusting way that they would go about sharing that tune. Do you remember?
Okay, so now I have a complete blank look on my face. I guess I should have paid better attention when our friend took us on this cemetery tour. So why don't you go ahead and share with us, Diane?
All right, I guess I'm educating everybody, including the co-host this evening. So sometimes when you're doing a show, you get the giggles. I'm sure you've seen movies where they have outtakes and somebody starts to giggle about something, and then every time they try to read or do their part again, they just burst into giggles again. We tend to get those on this show as well.
One of those vices was gambling, and the debts that he owed piled up, causing a rift between himself and his foster father, John, when John wouldn't loan the Poe money.
Do it again, Jesus. The Poe. We wouldn't lend the Poe.
So where are all the bloopers of mine?
Your tongue seems to get twisted quite a bit.
One of those vices was gambling, and the debts that he owed piled up, causing a rift between him.
Great. Take number 507.
Yeah, it hasn't been that many. Oh, geez, I've got the giggles. This could be bad. It's not even funny. Okay.
It's a good thing you're not getting paid for this. Can you imagine if we were filming a movie right now?
I've seen the best of the best do this. Okay.
All right, we'll come back to that. I don't know where did we get her?
Where she got me was in a bar.
I have a feeling this will be an outtake. It almost sounds like I said, what?
I took out about your host instead of host.
Apparently it sounds like I said, if you want to check out your hose here on the show. Before we get into that, we want to meet. Great. She's got the giggles for no reason.
I've got giggles for a reason. You're like, let's try that again. And before we get into that. Go ahead.
You look like a deer in headlights. What am I supposed to say? What you always say?
Ghost tours for the theater of the mind.
There's many times when you get tongue-tied or you read the wrong words, and we'll have a lot of fun with that as well.
But the most striking peculiarity... Oh, great. A word I can't say.
Peculiarities.
Peculiarities?
Peculiar? Can you say peculiar?
Peculiar.
Peculiar. I can't even say it. This is going to be an outtake. I can already see. The most striking peculiarities. But the most striking parts. Just say parts.
Okay. Peculiar parts?
No, just say parts instead of peculiarities.
Hey, you just said
I just said it.
Peculiarities.
Try it.
Okay.
When I put the call out to Twitter.
I joined Twitter.
And sometimes you just say things that you don't want to have on air, or sometimes we're doing tests that we don't want to go on air either.
And you have no idea what it looks like, so I think I'm going to go visit our website so that I can see this awesome picture.
Please. I cannot read tonight.
In many virgins...
In many virgins...
So this only works on virgins. Just kidding. So like a good neighbor, Mary was gathering. State Farm is here.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is here.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
That's going to be an outtake.
Okay.
Okay, we're just doing a quick test here. See how everything goes. Why don't you go ahead and, jump in and start talking right now, kind of like you're interrupting me because you wanted to add your 2 cents worth in
Hey,
while
I got
I'm
2
talking.
cents I'm going to add right now.
Okay, because I want to see. Go ahead, keep going. I just want to see.
Like if we're both talking at the same time?
Yeah, to see what it sounds
That's
like.
That's kind of rude, don't you think?
Well, no, but I mean, that's what I wanted you to be able to do, was to be able to jump in and say whatever
rude.
you wanted to.
I don't want to be rude. Stop it. I don't want to be. No.
You're so rude.
I don't want to be rude.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining us for this first ever bonus cast. There will be more to come in the future. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for episode number 19, which will be featuring Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. This has been your host, Diane. You take care now. Bye-bye.